We'll probably give it a few minutes and let Master Jedi get in here and other people join in. Hope everyone is having a good day. How are you doing today, Val?
I'm doing great. No work.
Sounds like a good day. Are you off for the holiday?
Yeah, my company didn't know what to do, so they were like, let's just not do anything. So I'm down for that.
That sounds fun. We actually got off early today too, so I only had to work 5 hours instead of 10. So that was kind of nice. I see Prof in the audience. You ready? How are you, Prof?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Doing good.
I was born ready, excited. Just got left what I was doing, tutoring the students to get home early so I could make sure I get some live scribing in.
Oh, we appreciate it. I do
We
have the
appreciate what you guys do.
Well, thank you. That's very kind. I do have the recording set up, and we have done a new way, thanks to help from Andre, where it will be basically a playback of the recording, and then it also does some closed captioning into through YouTube. So it'll be awesome for
Nice.
later. Yeah, but yours
Yeah,
is
it's
really
much better than the
Mhm.
live one because mine's just a summary.
Oh, for sure. And yours like hits the high points and then they'll be able to hear the actual full question and full explanation. But yours is great for people that are in the the audience
In
kind of
the audience and want to know now, yeah. And I'm happy
absolutely.
to do it.
Oh, there's the master himself, right on time. How are you
What
doing today?
up? Happy day before Thanksgiving, everybody, if you're in the US, and if you're anywhere else, happy World Cup time.
I see they've been celebrating in Maine, so that's exciting.
How's everybody doing on this fine day?
Good. Do you follow like the normal traditional feast or do you do anything different for Thanksgiving?
We do a pretty traditional feast, but my wife's family does it at lunch, which is weird for me because I'm used to the Thanksgiving dinner kind of situation, and they do more of a Thanksgiving lunch.
Oh, that's cool. So we do feast of favorites in my house. So I let my kids pick basically whatever they would like. Whatever thing they're kind of craving. So it can be anything from like wontons or Alfredo or anything random. It can even be like a casserole of some kind. And then they get to pick a dessert. And so we make that and then we do that for our Thanksgiving.
That's awesome. I think my youngest would just be like Pop Tarts, though, so.
More
We'd have,
power.
we'd have to either Pop Tarts or SpaghettiOs, so we'd have to make her level it up a little bit, I think.
That's awesome. How are you, Spaceman?
Doing well. How are you, Silver?
Doing good.
Awesome. Great to hear. Heard you guys discussing Thanksgiving plans. Hope you all get to spend some time with family, get a little bit of rest and relaxation, eat a bunch of food, and then pass out at 5 p.m.
I mean, that sounds like the perfect day to me, honestly. And nap and food.
Hashtag
Absolutely.
living the dream.
Seriously. But yeah, I just wanted to stop in and be available for people. So if anybody has any questions or um, anything they want me or Jedi to address, happy to do that.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Let's see. Give it till 5 after and then we'll get started.
Yeah, do you want me to see if I can pull Mr. Moonshot in here?
Yeah, absolutely, if you'd like.
Awesome. So I just pinged him. Hopefully he'll join. But if not, we will be fine without him. I see that there's already some questions coming through, so I'll wait till we get started to answer those. But yeah, happy to provide any clarity.
Awesome. We appreciate it. So I'll go ahead and get started and just basically summarize what we've been doing as far as our progress report that was posted on Monday. So as far as the foundation is working behind the scenes, we are currently having meetings with the dev team, going over processes, going over strategy, brainstorming, next steps, priorities and development and things like that. Master Jedi will, I'm sure, be happy to go into details if you guys would like. We are obviously in the middle of the liquidity pool migration, so that's still in progress. The Lunar Improvement Protocol is currently listed in Snapshot for vote. Voting for that ends November 28th. So if you haven't voted yet, your vote matters. And if you don't want to, more power to you. I believe it has already reached quorum as well. As far as community news, we are doing the Lunar birthday celebration. So happy birthday, Lunar. That right now, so there's 3 prizes that's up for grabs and 3 different ways to win. So right now, for the first one is composing a tweet and telling us your favorite thing about Lunar. There are some rules or details for entry in the post for that, so make sure you check that out. Whoever has the most interactions with that gets $25 in Lunar. The second one is the Lunar Mascot Award. So this is basically the MVP of the Lunar Dao community. There is a ticket section under the button is for contests, and you just go in there and you say, hey, I would like to nominate this person because they're awesome, and we just record it, and that's pretty much it. We're going to do basically a live drawing for that, so you guys can see that it's random and everything like that. Next one is the third and final prize is a Nano X Ledger NFT. So that is actually redeemable for the real thing. They have terms and conditions as far as their ability to redeem it, but whoever wins this one will get the NFT. So that ends, let's see, Thursday the 24th, and then prizes will be drawn and awarded on Friday. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Let's see. I mean, I think that's pretty much caught up as far as the community goes. You're welcome to answer questions and stuff if you would like, Spaceman.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I think those prizes are awesome. A little jealous that I can't take place in the festivities, but I will live vicariously through whoever wins. But yeah, I'm here to answer any questions. If you guys wanna just jump right into it, we can. Or if you have any other announcements or things you want to share, we can do that as well.
I'd like to go over a couple things with everybody before we jump into that. So, everybody's been really excited and had a lot of questions and about us getting back to work on things. The dev team has been meeting with the foundation. We've been going over the assets that we have, the processes, getting everybody up to speed on how the dev team has been doing business for the last 6 months, and starting to flesh out what our next steps are. We'll have more info for that as we can. Remembering moving forward, we're going to be very careful about how we communicate the work that we do and the deliverables. The one thing I want to touch on that's up for vote right now, we put quite a bit of time into writing a newer, more innovative process for our lunar improvement proposal protocol, or the LIP protocol. And if you folks haven't had a chance to take a look at that, I know we've reached quorum, but this is going to be the process by which you folks submit things moving forward, and wanted it to be really crystal clear on how we were going to be able to get things done. The core of that is that the foundation has a bit more leeway to be able to fast track certain things if necessary. I wanted to be really clear. What it does not cover, because this might come up, is the ability to handle emergency situations where, like, we have to pause the contract in case there's a bug or something like that. We're going to have to make a minor adjustment to the bylaws to make sure that that goes in, because those types of situations would not have a proposal that goes live, so the proposal protocol doesn't really apply. So we'll make sure that those adjustments get in a future protocol thing. There's also in there different 4 different types of proposals. There are different wait times, there are different quorum levels, and there are different discussion and voting periods. So we want to make sure that everybody is active, participating, staying involved. So most of the votes moving forward are going to be 3 days, unless there is a constitutional amendment change, like what I just talked about with the bylaws. So if you want to be able to vote and stay involved, you're going to need to stay in the community and stay active. So we'll have better ways for you to get notified when things are happening through Circle, and when the Circle community is online, which will be hopefully fairly soon. So we'll keep you folks posted on that. But that's where that stands. We put a lot of time and effort into making sure that this process was going to give you folks the clarity that you need and understanding decisions that are made, and giving us the flexibility to be able to move as quickly as we possibly can. So I appreciate the feedback, all your help, and the vote so quickly. It's been really great to see these things move through the process and have everybody vote as quickly as they have been. So we appreciate you. Well, that's it for me.
Absolutely. And just to echo what Jedi said, the amount of participation in these proposals is astounding. I don't think any of us expected this level of participation. If you look at any of the other top DAOs in the space, they don't even come close. So I just wanted to kind of reiterate how awesome this community is, and I'm very hopeful for kind of our future success and the success of the DAO. It's really great to see.
It is. It's kind of overwhelming. I was looking at some of the other DAOs, like you were saying, and just our participation is insane. And it just makes me really grateful to be part of the community with you guys, and we just appreciate it. I wanted to make sure and give Master Jedi special thanks for taking all the time. I mean, it was weeks of effort to customize the lunar improvement protocol for us. It just shows how dedicated he is to the project, and we just really appreciate it. I wanted to also give basically say welcome back to Dot and Stevie as mods for us. So we're glad to have you. And I wanted to give a special thanks to our first community submitted discussion in Discourse. And forgive me, I might be saying the name wrong, but it's Drone, maybe. So I just wanted to give a shout out because I thought that was pretty cool. And so make sure you guys check that out and make your comments and give your opinions, because I mean, we don't want to waste the effort. So it's appreciated. And now if you're ready, Spaceman, is there anything else that you guys can think of before we get to questions?
No, nothing at the moment. I have some things in the works that I'm helping you guys with, but don't want to announce anything until it's ready. So I think it is a good time to get into questions.
So I'll go ahead and let you get started.
Awesome. Let me pop into the AMA questions channel. Okay. So this was from November 18th, so this was after the last AMA, so it still applies. Okay, so AK Crypto asks, for the next AMA, or any of the team / foundation before that, one, I know that MJ and the team are working feverishly on multiple things. Is publishing a new timeline and roadmap on that list? Jedi, that is a question for you.
Absolutely. We want to be able to publish a new roadmap, and we're working on what that process looks like. Timelines, no. So the thing we're going to be really clear about within how we're going to move forward is there's been a lot of focus, effort, energy in the community on treating aspirational dates as if they're deadlines. And moving forward, we're going to be much more general about how we talk about things because just over the last 8 weeks, it's been not fun to be in the community forums and get yelled at about things we have little control over. So we're going to be publishing that roadmap. We're going to publish that in a place where you folks can see what needs to be done and watch us walk through that process. And we'll be tackling the work that needs to be done in a transparent way. We'll have more details on that after the holiday break, because for us, tomorrow through Sunday basically is a holiday. So going into next week, once we're done with our initial onboarding, getting up to speed process, we'll have more information for everybody.
Awesome. Thanks, Jedi. The second question is, has staking LNR crystals been discussed / planned yet? So what I do know is that there are certain legal considerations that need to be worked through in regards to staking. This is something that is relatively new, based on kind of how certain regulatory agencies are deciding to treat staking as of recently. And I know that the foundation directors are currently sourcing legal counsel to walk them through that process. So no word on that yet, unless the foundation directors have anything different to say about that. But yeah, stay tuned for any news on that particular thing. The third question is, has any thought / discussion around reflections happened now that we are back to a DAO? A year ago, this was a reflections-based token that obviously up and changed completely. Once the LNR app / wallet / DEX is complete and bringing in funds is a 3% buy / sell tax, with that just being 3% reflections, again, a survival manageable option. So that will be up to the DAO in terms of what it wants to do from a tax standpoint. Yeah, that is not something that the directors or foundation advisors or foundation administrators or the people that they work with would be in charge of deciding. So I'm just going to say that is up to the DAO, and it's going to be up to the community to discuss what they want to do there. Of course, the foundation directors are going to make sure that whatever is done is run by proper counsel, so that we don't run into any potential issues there. The question number 4 is, why did the previous LNR leadership team not transition directly into LNR foundation roles? That was for a very specific reason. In order to do this properly, we couldn't be the same people that were directing or serving as directors of the LNR Foundation. However, every single one of the leadership team, every single member of the leadership team is still involved with the LNR Foundation. And I know that Jedi, I believe, was Jedi and his team were officially hired by the foundation as of a week or 2 ago. I am still involved on a daily basis with the foundation as an advisor and a contributor. I'm helping them with various things in my domains of expertise and skills, and plan to continue to do so for free into the foreseeable future. And then question number 5 is, why is a particular person such a huge, lying, disrespectful, problem causing? Okay. Yeah, I will say that we were not super thrilled with that situation. But I think some people in times like these kind of just want somebody to take their fears and concerns and what would you say, anxiety out on someone. So yeah, I think in general the community overall is really positive and supportive and does not act in a unreasonable manner, but there are some people that do, and we would really appreciate if you could report these types of things to us so that we can mitigate them and avoid any potential downfall that could come out of it. So that answers AK Crypto's questions. Let me just check through the rest of this
I just
chat.
want to elaborate on that a little bit. I think part of the issue over there has been in the transition, there's been a void of information on that channel. And when you have a public community like that, there's information voids are going to be filled. And so it's kind of up to us to, and we've been working diligently to get CoinMarketCap to reapprove all of our logins and stuff like that so that we can post as official project leaders. And we will be filling that information void with legitimate details so that people who have reading comprehension problems or just misinterpret the things that we say can have those things officially corrected and have a solid set of information moving forward. So no matter what community you're on, you're getting the proper information. So
Awesome. Thanks for that, Jedi. Let me check this channel, see if there's anything else.
And while you're taking a look at that, I just wanted to let you guys know too, there was some comments about the team and holding funds for themselves. So I'm assuming the team right now means Lunar Foundation. We are not being paid. So everything that we do for you, whether it's community-wise, proposals, late night meetings, extra hours, all of that is volunteer time. We are not receiving compensation at all. So I just want to make sure that that's clear and that you guys know that, because those rumors are harmful and not accurate.
yeah, the team, just so everybody knows, the majority or the foundation was up until 12:30 a.m. Eastern time last night after having day jobs, getting ready for Thanksgiving. We've been meeting late into the night every day this week, prepping for stuff that's going on, and just seeing the comments about how the team is, doing all these different things. Really, just it's hurtful. It's unproductive. It's factually incorrect. And for the developers that we hire, they have to eat, folks. We're a software development shop, and we got to be able to be able to develop the software that we set out to do. So nobody's taking anything for themselves and going off to a beach or anything like that. We're all very busy and have a lot of work to get done. And so we appreciate everybody in the community that recognizes and understands that and helps us fight the FUD. So
Yeah, absolutely. I would say for anybody in here who sees things like that, I would encourage them to one, just correct people if you see incorrect information, but also encourage them to have an open conversation with us about it, because usually a lot of these issues are based on a misconception or something that people made up in their head. And typically, when you have a conversation with the person and explain the reality of the situation, they usually get on board. So would appreciate the community's help throughout that process. I know that every single person in here is pretty much an open book as much as we possibly can be. We have nothing to hide. We haven't done anything malicious, have always acted in good faith. So if you guys have any questions about anything whatsoever, we are here to talk about them. Awesome. Okay, so I see some questions from November 16th. When was the last AMA? So last Wednesday was the 16th. So I was not on this AMA, so I'm not sure if we got to these. Silver, would you be able to provide some insight on the questions from November 16th?
Yep, those ones were already taken care of.
Fantastic. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so see some in here from November 23rd. So Lunar will focus on building a fully functional NFT platform first. I do not believe that is the plan, unless something changed within the past day or so. However, the DAO can decide what the DAO wants to work on. So if it wants to build a NFT platform, there are a number of ways of going about doing that. Awesome. So anybody else? Hello, could you tell me about what is a Genesis holder, please? I'm assuming you're referring to Lunar Genesis Crystal NFTs. So a Genesis holder is simply somebody who holds Lunar Genesis Crystal NFTs. The ticker for that NFT is LNR Genesis, and is currently on BNB chain. Awesome. Sharkasm Tom asks, actually that's an answer. Thank you for answering that question, Sharkasm. Doesn't look like there's anything else in the AMA questions channel. Are you guys seeing anything in the main chat potentially? Or anybody raising their hand? Oh, looks like somebody's raising their hand. Silver, do you want to bring them up?
Absolutely. Hi and welcome.
Thank you guys for everything that you're doing. I know you've been getting a lot of criticism, but I understand that you guys are working hard and I support that, and you guys seem very dedicated and stubborn in the regard that you're not going to give up, and I am a very similar person with my own work. So thank you for doing that, and I appreciate that. One of the questions I had was regarding, so I don't know, I'm kind of a newbie, but I think I remember reading in one of the blog letters back in like April or whatnot, and I was just kind of curious. So is Lunar going to be its own blockchain? And if that's the case, will that eventually be a different token migration, or is it always just going to be the BNB 20 token? Like, I'm just thinking in terms of sustainability and whether or not we need to rely on a different blockchain to function.
Yeah, so I can answer that. So the blockchain that we had been talking about that was named Plexus, that was previously named Plexus, is still moving forward. That's not moving forward as part of the Lunar process. As part of the DAO migration, we separated that out from the token because, and there's a post about that we can link to in the channel that I posted on Medium. Basically, the exit strategy for a blockchain would be acquisition, especially if it was a .NET powered blockchain. In a perfect world, we'd have Microsoft acquire that and make it part of the Azure platform. That would not happen if it was attached to an ERC20 token that it did not create or have control over. And so in order to be able to set it up for United States venture capital, traditional investment, and to set it up for an exit where it's going to be palatable for businesses to use, because it's not just going to be consumer focused, then we need to make sure that that the ecosystem it's creating is conducive to a B2B environment, and having its own 20 or its own ERC20 token is not going to do that. So we'll get into more specifics about how the platform is going to work within Plexus, but the expectation right now is we're not going to the .NET blockchain. At the moment, we're no longer referring to it as Plexus because we haven't made a decision if that is the proper brand or not for it. But the .NET blockchain will still be a thing. Lunar will still be like a primary partner, like the founding partner of that platform and its most important customer. And we are likely still going to use that for the primary compute engine for what we do. Now, the intention has always been to build a cross-chain ecosystem. And so if the DAO, like our intention and the way we built the ERC20 token was to deploy it on multiple blockchains. So I would imagine the DAO is still going to want to do that. And I would imagine that a multi-chain future is still part of that ecosystem. Primarily at the beginning, it's going to be the .NET blockchain and the BNB chain. But moving forward, you can definitely expect others. So, and we still want to be able to do like the cross-chain NFTs and all that fun stuff. Be able to move the NFTs to Ethereum and that kind of thing. So
So are you saying that the Lunar token on the Binance blockchain will always be that, but you could come out with a different blockchain Lunar token? Or I guess that's where I got a little lost there for a second. Like, so there
Yeah.
might be
So
multiple blocks. Yeah.
yeah, so if you think about just like BNB, there's a couple different flavors. There's like Binance has its own stable coin called BUSD, and you can
Yeah.
trade that stable coin on multiple chains. There's other chains have a concept of wrapped BNB, which is a
Hmm.
wrapping a token on other chains is like a pointer or a placeholder to the token somewhere else. So
Hmm.
we'll have a strategy for, um, as long as the DAO wants it, which I'm just going to assume that they do. Um, there will be the ability to take Lunar and move it between chains at some point in our future. That's
Okay.
always been the
But then,
intention, and I don't think that's going to change.
okay, so if you release like different blockchain lunars, though, that's not going to change the lunar supply per se, right? It's just going to be interchangeable,
Yeah, it
right?
depends on how you do it. So
Yeah,
you can decide to mint new tokens um, entirely, which would increase the overall supply of LNR across all blockchains. Or you could do something like mint tokens on one chain and burn an equivalent amount on another chain.
yeah,
And then for any
Okay.
bridges that you have between those tokens, you have a mint and burn mechanism or a lock and unlock mechanism so that you
Yeah.
keep the
Right.
supply constant across all blockchains. And I would assume that if the DAO is going to do this, they would probably choose that option.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Because I
yeah.
guess like as an investor, right? I'm trying to decide like, well, because hearing that I want like, oh, well, do I need to wait and buy other ones in the future on a different blockchain, or am I just fine where I'm at right now? And
Yeah,
I don't know.
so unless I'm completely wrong, which I don't think this would ever be the case, the BNB chain LNR token will always exist on BNB chain. Um,
Mhm.
So I don't, it's not something where you'd have to worry about like migrating to a different chain or doing anything of the sort. It simply would be to provide optionality, to provide the ability to do interesting things cross chain, and
Mhm.
open the LNR token up to other participants in other ecosystems.
Yeah.
Okay. So So then, I guess just to summarize what you guys said and make sure my understanding is correct, is basically like Plexus is more or less it's related. Plexus and Lunar are related. They're kind of different, but Plexus is sort of different. But Lunar is more or less going to be the main part of the Plexus chain or whatever it ends up being called essentially. Um, so is that correct?
Essentially, yeah. So
Yeah,
Unless
there'll
the
be a
DAO
deep
decides
partnership.
otherwise.
so
There,
yes, so Plexus cannot exist unless it is a separate independent entity. However, what it
Uh-huh.
creates is a large incentive for Plexus to work with, help bolster Lunar,
yeah,
due to the fact that it is the what would you say, as Jedi said, one of the kind of founding partners and first use cases of Plexus Chain. So there's
yeah,
a
Okay.
lot of positive synergies there that make this work better than if everything was kept under one roof and nothing was able to come to fruition because either the way it worked, you can acquire funding for one of the particular, um, or for the blockchain in particular, and things of that nature. So the way that this structure has worked out actually puts everything in the best position possible to benefit the lunar ecosystem.
yeah. And I want to elaborate on that just a little bit to say that it also makes the ecosystem move more quickly because the blockchain will be able to be funded separately, be structured separately. And if you think about how Binance works and the Binance ecosystem around getting people to develop on that platform, we're really trying
Mhm.
to mirror that process with a much better experience. And so, anybody can develop on Binance. Anybody will be able to develop on the .NET blockchain. But when you look at that marketing page for the blockchain, there are, premier partners and there are other projects. It's an opportunity for us to showcase Lunar as much as possible to as wide an audience as possible, and essentially double the marketing spend when you look at how it's going to be marketed between both environments. So a lot more opportunities the way we're talking about doing it.
Okay, awesome. Well, I think that pretty much wraps up all my questions. Thank you for the clarifications and whatnot. Yeah.
No problem.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate the question.
Thank you for your time.
It looks like Toasty's raising their hand. Silver, could you bring him up?
I sure can. Hey,
Hello.
Toasty.
Welcome.
Thank you. So basically, I have a question regarding the next steps for like proposals, because the DAO has recently rehired the dev team. Congratulations, by the way, Jedi.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you and your support.
So would it be reasonable to think that the Omni wallet would be the initial product to propose, since everything else would stem from that? I'm talking about the NFT thing. Considering like the whole crackdown on centralized exchanges like FTX have shown people that a good DEX solution is really needed, which the Omni wallet can offer.
Appreciate the question. So when we left off development, as the DAO was in this transition, we were in the middle of completing work that needed to be done to ship certain things that were promised to the community and promised to people outside of the community. And we were also in the middle of some updates to the contract to be able to support the requirements of some of these exchanges for how they handle the taxes and all that fun stuff. So first and foremost, like those things need to be done. And some of the proposals that the DAO has passed has included developer time to be able to do things like integrating the governance platform with Ethereum wallets. So you can sign in with your Ethereum wallet to participate in DAO governance. So those are going to be the very first tasks that we tackle. Moving forward on the work that needs to be done, and I've been going through this with the foundation, and we have another meeting tonight at very late in the day to go over like what assets we have and how the system works. There are certain things that have to be built in a particular order in order to get to the concept of an Omni Wallet app that would let you be able to do things beyond show you what's in each of your wallets. And so we still have to assess what the set of tasks that need to be done in order to be able to get to that thing. So I want to be like crystal clear with everybody about our strategy. We need to get this software to the point where it generates revenue. Outside revenue that is not necessarily based on tokenomics, because we're a software development company and the thing has to generate revenue. So just the easiest way to think about what the right approach is going to be is to pose a question. Is it easier to get 20,000 people to pay $5, or is it easier to get 10 people to pay $100,000? You'd be really surprised at that answer. So we're going to be prioritizing the assets that we have and bringing to market and completing the software that's available to be completed so that we can start generating revenue. And like my gut reaction at this point would be to say that the Omni wallet is probably a little bit farther away from being done than other assets that we can monetize. And so we'll be talking about that more in the future. But again, this is still very early, and we're just getting up to speed with the foundation and the dev team on, basically we have new bosses. Our new bosses need to understand how we develop software, and then we have to sit down together and prioritize that roadmap, because it doesn't matter what's on that roadmap. The second we publish it, people are going to load up their verbal guns and start firing in our direction. So we got to be prepared for answering all those questions.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Hope that was helpful. We're going to get to a point where we're going to be much more specific as soon as we can, but we're still very early in the planning process. So not able to say like specifically one way or the other definitively what we're going to work on next, besides the things that were already passed in the lips that went through.
And one thing I wanted to touch on, I'm sure the community is wanting a little bit of an update on. So collectively, we have chosen to edge on the part of caution as far as the NDA when it comes to the facility deal. I am comfortable letting you know that they are reviewing the information that we have submitted them, and we're still talking to them. So that's part of the update on there. So that's still in progress. Like we had mentioned earlier, it is a holiday in the United States, and most businesses are definitely closed tomorrow, probably part of today. And then when they come back, it's Friday. And here, I'm sure you guys have it too, is Black Friday. So the likelihood that we will hear this week is probably unlikely. Same thing with the finance application for the the funds for that. Just waiting to hear back on those, but we are in active communication. So just wanted to let you guys know that that is still in progress and we're working on it.
Awesome. Thank you, Silver. Doesn't look like there's anybody else raising their hand. Check AMA questions channel. Nothing in there. Main chat, maybe. Yeah, not seeing anything in main chat. Guys, if you have any questions, now's your time to ask. Feel free to raise your hand or post them in the AMA questions channel. We'd be happy to provide an answer. I don't see anybody else raising their hand.
Me either. I don't see any other questions. I think we're probably good to go. So any last minute additions or memories that sparked during the conversations? I think we're pretty good on the foundation side. Nope. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for attending. We really appreciate it.
Looks like we did get one additional question. What's the Binance app? I'm assuming he's referring to the Binance application. Application meaning a form, not a piece of software. Just
Yes.
Silver, Val, do you guys want to speak to that?
Absolutely. So Binance has offered basically, I'm trying to think of how they worded it. It's a Binance Industry Recovery Fund application. So basically their way of stimulating the crypto communities. So we had put an application for that so we're just waiting to kind of hear back.
I imagine the look, here's like real talk. Binance is not one of the most efficiently operating companies I've ever worked with. I would imagine the response from this platform was overwhelming, and I imagine they have a lot of applications to work through. I have no idea. Nobody said anything about how much money they committed to this fund or what they're planning on doing. But money doesn't go as far when you promise things like that to these types of projects as you think they do. So, like if they said they committed, who knows, like if they were internally committing $20 million, if you put that into 50 projects, it's only like what, it's only 50 grand a pop. So, these types of things are not, it's not guaranteed. They could have had thousands of applications that they're working through, and then they'll only pick the top, who knows. I looked at the application process and it was not terribly in depth. So I have no idea how they're going through those. I have no idea how they're validating. There's no indication I don't even know if we've gotten a response that said, "Hey, we received your application." So, like, it would be great if this happens, but as a collective community, don't hold your breath on it. So, and just be realistic about what your expectations within that process. It'd be absolutely amazing if we get it, but we're certainly not like counting on that or putting it in our budget or anything like that.
Yeah, I think that's great to know. Thank you, Jedi. Looks like
Yeah,
there is
yeah.
somebody raising their hand if we wanna pull them up here.
Spartan 117.
Hey, what's up, guys? Haven't
Hey,
talked to you guys in a
Spartan.
while. Pretty good, man.
So,
Yeah, so I mean, I've been absent for a couple months. I talked to Master Jedi just recently, and sorry, I knew you guys were about to leave right now, but it's just a quick question. So ever since the transition to the DOA, are Lunar's goals pretty much relatively the same since they were, prior to like the whole crypto crash and stuff like that, like the wallets and everything else that the goals that Lunar had in general when it was Spaceman and the rest of the old team.
Yeah,
yeah,
so I
so
can speak to that.
DOA means dead on arrival. So hopefully we're not that. We're a
DAO.
decentralized autonomous organization. So every time we're dead, I'm like, oh no, are we dead? Wait, I gotta check. I'm still breathing. Okay, we're good. So no, we're good there. I'll let Spaceman jump in on the rest.
Yeah,
Just giving you a hard
say
time, by the
that,
way.
so I do know that the original leadership team still has very similar, if not virtually the same, kind of goals and plans for things that we would like to work on. It is a little bit more nuanced of an answer that is needed for a question like that because under a DAO structure, the goals and the plans for the ecosystem are decided by and up to the community and the DAO members themselves. So I can't speak for every single DAO member, but I would assume that the majority of the DAO members would still have similar plans and goals in mind for the ecosystem. I think all of us want a lot of the same things that we've been talking about over the past year, and so which is actually really great because it means that we're aligned on a lot of things, and I think it's clear from the proposal voting results that is the case. It's actually astounding how much we move as a community, kind of in unison towards common goals. So it's awesome to see there. But I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's pretty much everything. Thanks. I just wanted to clear it up. Appreciate it.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you for asking. Awesome. I don't see anybody else raising their hand. So last chance, everybody, if you have anything to ask, feel free to raise your hand. If not, feel free to post it in the AMA questions channel, and we will get to it next week. Going once, going twice. Awesome. Silver, I'll kick it back to you to let you wrap things up.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Again, this is being recorded. We have implemented a audio video on YouTube that will get uploaded shortly, and we'll be using that as a way for you guys to be able to listen to the AMAs as well, to make it more accessible for people that aren't necessarily on Discord or TG. That's it. We hope you guys have a wonderful day, and those of you that are having a holiday, we hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much for your time and joining us.
Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Really appreciate you all. We'll talk soon.
Have a great holiday, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate and to those who celebrate the World Cup. Hope your team wins. So have fun. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.
Awesome. Bye, folks.
Bye, everyone.